In this video, we're going to be installing this vapor canister assembly. So this is what it looks like. On my vehicle. So essentially there's just 4 hoses. Let's turn on the light here. There's this one, this vapor recovery. This one goes to the fuel tank. This one goes to the purge line, and this one goes to the vent line. So I've been trying to chase down a P0446. You can see my previous video where I tried patching it up with some FIPG. That didn't work. The code came back. So Toyota was running a sale that was like 25% off. So I thought, hell, I'll just go for it. And here it is. So one of the things I want to show you, and this is going to be a little strange, is that when you shake it, no sounds are made. And I will show you what the old one sounds like when I take it out. So let's go over to the car and go through the procedure of taking out the old canister. To do this job, I have the car up on these ramps, which is probably the safest way to do this. You know, no wheels need to come off, so this works out pretty well. So let's get under the car. Here we have our old canister. Now you can see I've replaced some of these hoses. Now I am seeing that there's like a kink in one of them. I'm not sure. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. If there is, I'll put the old hose back on. Ooh, yeah, there is a kink in that hose. So I may want to put the original back on for that one. That's good to see there, but you can see the FIPG I put on. Let me see, is there a kink in the other hose? The other hose looks fine, but there is a kink in that first hose. And then we see the tank hose and the other one. So the first one I'm going to go after, shouldn't be too hard. Maybe I could try to do it on camera, is this one right here. And this one really just, it's like a push, and it looks like it's going to be a little tough for me to do. I'm going to need both hands for it, but the way the manual says is very strange. It's like you have to push it in, and I mean, maybe you do, but I realize you're really just trying to get those little flanges over the lip, and then it just kind of slides off. So let me try to do that. Okay, all of the relevant hoses have been disconnected. We see the vent hose in there, and then there's the 2 electrical connectors, one up there for the pressure sensor, and then the other one over here for the vacuum switching valve. So let's now, to remove it, what we're going to need to do is drop the exhaust. And fortunately, what made all this easy is that I already took this out before, so all these hoses have been loosened up and so forth. So the hard part will really be, if you know this has been sitting for the life of the car, is fighting those rubber hoses off. But once you get through that, you'll be able to take it off pretty easily. So now it's going to be, sorry, something just fell down in my eye. So now it's going to be dropping the exhaust. You really just need to take off a few of these rubber things, and then what I ended up doing is just unbolting this, because this one was near impossible to do. So, but the rest of them you should be able to pull off. Now I did get the tool. There's like a $13 tool on Amazon which is used for this, which did help a lot in getting the other ones off. But for this big one, we're just gonna unbolt it, and then once that's off, you just take off these two 14mm bolts, one right up there and another one right up there, and then we can just slide the whole thing out. You know, it's going to take a little jiggling and fighting, but it should come right out. So here's the tool. Pretty simple. You just put it on back here and push, and it helps you. Now you will need some kind of manual finagling to get it off, but that's pretty much it. So if we get that up there, and it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but you can see the method of operation. So I'm going to pull these out and then I'll get back to you. So here's what it looks like with the exhaust down, and next thing will be to unbolt the canister and wiggle it out. So here's what I wanted to demonstrate. Here's the old canister. I mean, if anybody's looking to buy an old canister, since he sells these as a set, I mean, it comes with this vapor pressure sensor. It comes with the vacuum switching valve, which seem to be fine. I've tested them, but maybe they're not. But what I like to show is that there's all this loose, let me just, you can hear the charcoal moving around, whereas in the new canister it's not the case. So it's like tightly packed in there. Now, is that why it was throwing the code? I don't know, but it's definitely a clear difference between the old canister and the new canister. So that's that. What I'm going to check is on the old original hose and see if I can put that on and make sure it's not in too bad of a condition, because I didn't like that kink. I don't want it throwing a vent code because it has that kink, and the canister's fine. So let me take a look at that. So here's the old hose. Seems to be in okay condition. You can see that's the side that went on the rubber. That's the size that went on the metal, and you can see that it has that bend kind of built into it. So I'm going to put this back on because I really don't want that kink to throw a code. Alright, so this is about to go in. You could see the part number here for this little valve. We could see the part number here for the vapor pressure sensor, and then ultimately the part for the whole canister, which is an updated part number from the one that was in the car. So this is everything, and now I'm going to try to wiggle it in without scratching it or denting it too bad. So let's see how it goes. All right, we got it in place. We got all the hoses connected. There's the that original hose. So I hope that doesn't have any leaks or anything. I just hope this solves the freaking code. So we have that hose, we have that connector. So there's 6 things. There's 4 hoses and 2 connectors. And we have that. We have the vapor line that just pops in. We have the fuel line. Oh, maybe I can move that clip up a little more. All right, everything's back in place. We have the exhaust. We can see it was one connector, that little part there with the 2 bolts, and then there's 2 little hangers there. And these things hold up remarkably well. I mean, these things are almost 25 years old, and they still squish. They're still rubbery, and I mean, they're near, I'm assuming these things get pretty hot. So very well made, those little things. Now the one concern I had is this line right here. It's hard to see now, but there was like liquid fuel that dripped out of the line. It wasn't a lot, but it was maybe a couple drips. Now the tank is very full. Maybe you're not supposed to change that out. I mean, I just hope I didn't mess it up. This brand new $200+ canister, but this is the line that goes to the fuel tank. The tank is full, like literally full. I think I've gone like a mile or 2 on the new tank. So yeah, either way, I hope that didn't ruin it. When I took off the hose, there was like a little drop. You can see some of the little residue there drip down. So I hope not, but nothing I could do now if fuel got into it. We're gonna put that back on, and we'll put the nut, I think is in a pretty good spot just there. Let me pull it back just a hair. I'm actually using the light to help me out. Alright, so that's on pretty good. So let's see if the code comes back. I mean, this is what did I diagnose it as this? Fully no. I did try a bunch of different things like pushing pressure and various things. So was it this? I hope so. If it was a P0446 or something like that, there's a better chance that maybe it was something else, but I wasn't able to fully diagnose it, so we'll see if this fixes the issue. So here is some proof of the codes getting cleared. So this is this dash command, and for the longest time that P0446 code was showing up, but now we see all of the monitors have completed and there are no codes. So the canister did ultimately fix the problem as far as I can tell. And I want to actually go over to another app and just show you a little bit of what I found, and also what my next project is going to be. So it seems like the evap system is now clear, and that's good to go. So here is this Moto Data app. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, Motor Data or whatever it is. And this app actually came in handy because you can see a bunch of other parameters. So you get all the basic ones that you also get in that dash command. But what was useful was seeing this fuel tank vapor pressure and also this transmission fluid temperature. So this fuel tank vapor pressure, 180 psi. Now obviously it's not really 180 psi, because if it was 180, sorry, turning it around, 180 psi, my fuel system would explode. So I'm not sure exactly what it's equal to, but it is definitely not that. Maybe it's 18 psi, you know, maybe it's a factor of 10. Either way, when before I changed the vapor canister, these measurements were reading, when I had the car on, at around 190 psi. Obviously not really 190 psi, but on this measurement. And when the car was off, 140 psi. So that's where my thinking is that it's like a 10 times factor, because 140 would line up with around 14 psi or atmospheric. So, and it would stay around those measurements. But since I've replaced the vapor canister, I've seen it go as low as 98 psi, you know, 9.8 psi. Again, I'm just guessing. I'm not sure why it's reading that, but essentially I use this to measure change as opposed to the absolute value. And there's no DTCs. So the next thing I'm going to look at doing is, and we can't really see it here, but is adding a transmission cooler. Now we see right now the transmission fluid temperature is actually pretty good, 179 degrees. That's right around where it should be, but I think it runs a little hot. After I take it on the expressway, it gets up to 200. I've seen it as much as 230, which is way too hot, and I do a lot of expressway driving with this. So this is going to be something I want to measure. I may do another video about installing the transmission cooler on this ES300, and we will see. But we see everything else is looking pretty normal. No misfire. Let's see, does this show the monitors? Whether the monitors, see, this one doesn't show the monitors. That's why that other dash command is pretty useful. But we see the coolant temperature 186, transmission temperature around 180. So that's pretty good. But I'm very happy to report that the new canister, I mean, unfortunately it was like $200 something, but that did fix the issue. So probably, I don't know exactly what failed, but definitely that difference with the charcoal rattling around in the old one and not the new one, and possibly the valves, possibly other things, but that did verifiably fix the issue. Thanks for watching.